Despite its infamous reputation, Moscow is an incredibly unique destination, well worth a visit at some point in your lifetime. Take the time to explore and uncover a city brimming with culture, history, and incredible architecture. As the capital of Russia, the largest country in the world by area, there are endless hidden treasures in addition to world-famous landmarks like the Kremlin or Red Square. We've rounded up 10 sites that should be added to any Moscow itinerary. Get ready to explore. Number 10. Museums. Museums frequently make our travel guides, as they are an excellent way to absorb a country's culture and history in one shot. The Pushkin Museum in Moscow is one of the most comprehensive art galleries in the world. Works span the centuries, from ancient Greek and Roman pieces to Renaissance masterpieces and contemporary works. The museum consists of 10 permanent collections focusing on European, Oriental, and Russian art. And if you'd rather spend your time outside, the Kolomenskoye Museum is an open-air museum dedicated to Russian culture. Wander through immaculately preserved architectural structures like churches, fortifications, and traditional Russian homes. Given that Russia was the second major player in the space race to the moon and still has an impressive space program, visiting the Museum of Cosmonautics is a must. Featuring a variety of exhibitions, guests will find artifacts from Russian cosmonauts, satellites, and rocket ships, including replicas of Sputnik 1 and Mir, as well as landers and probes that have explored the moon and beyond. Number 9. Gorky Park. Given its central location in Moscow, it's no surprise this is one of the most visited parks in all of Moscow. The park is named in honor of Soviet writer Maxim Gorky, who kicked off the literary movement of social realism. He was also nominated for a Nobel Prize in Literature 5 times before dying in 1936. The park is divided into 4 main areas. Museon to the north is an open-air museum displaying more than 1,000 sculptures that were removed from all over Russia after the fall of communism. Parterre is the primary section of the park, which has been open since 1928. The most recognizable segment of the park is probably the entrance gate, which was restored to its former glory in 2014 and is the perfect spot for an Instagram-worthy check-in. At one time, the main attraction here was the Parachute Tower. Precisely as the name suggests, people were allowed to jump in parachutes from the top of the tower when it was active in the 1930s. Now you can see a replica model in a small museum located near the main entrance. The central portion of the park, Neskuchny Garden, is the most historical section with landscaping that dates back to 1728. Visitors love feeding the local wildlife, as birds and squirrels have no qualms about eating right out of your palm. Finally, the last portion of the park is Sparrows Hill, or Vorobyovi Gory. From the top, you can enjoy a panoramic view of the city, and you'll also find the Church of the Trinity. Number 8. Lenin Mausoleum. This controversial yet undeniably popular attraction is the final resting place of Vladimir Lenin, a legendary Russian revolutionary. The tomb was opened to the public in 1924, and the memorial hall culminates with Lenin's embalmed body secured in a glass sarcophagus. Visitors will also discover an impressive array of artifacts related to his life and impacts on society. The building features a number of memorials and monuments, as well as interactive exhibits that detail Lenin's legacy. Number 7. Arbat Street. This bustling pedestrian street is a place of history and culture, with a rich heritage that spans centuries. The main attraction is the cobbled alleyway lined with shops, restaurants, and galleries, all catering to various tastes and budgets. From traditional souvenirs to contemporary artwork and delicious food from all around the world, there truly is something for everyone. Some of the most unique experiences on Arbat Street are enjoying a puppet show or live music as you wander the area. The gorgeous architecture transports visitors back in time, while the vibrant murals showcase talented local artists. Number 6. GUM. GUM is an iconic shopping mall located in the heart of Moscow. As one of Russia's most popular tourist destinations, it offers a host of activities and attractions that make it a perfect place to explore during your stay. There are plenty of opportunities to exercise your wallet, from clothing stores to jewelry stores. It's been open since 1893 and includes luxury shops like Prada and Louis Vuitton. But there's more here than designer products. A 1950s-style shop sells incredible gourmet foods, wines, and treats like chocolate and other classic Soviet products. Even the outside of the building is worth admiring, particularly at night when the dozens of windows and building edges are lit up with perfectly placed white lights. Number 5. Moscow Metro. Underground Moscow is an entirely different world. In Stalin's vision of Moscow, the metro stations would have been the palaces of the people. Aside from being one of the most effective metro systems in the world, it's also one of the most beautiful, feeling at many locations like an ornately appointed museum. Hallways feature lofty ceilings, luxurious white marble, and crystal chandeliers, with each station also having unique mosaics, statues, or reliefs celebrating various Soviet symbols. It is a constant reminder to those who use the metro system of Soviet ideology. This wasn't by accident. When the metro was first established in the 1930s, low and middle-class workers were the primary passengers. So filling the metro with Russia-positive images and symbols kept laborers proud of their country while working back-breaking jobs and long hours. Number 4. Bolshoi Theater. Neoclassical design elements inspire the Bolshoi Theater's exterior architecture, and the interior is stunning with its elaborate designs. Visitors can admire the building from the outside, but the real magic happens when taking in a show or browsing through one of the theater's many galleries or souvenir shops. The Bolshoi is renowned for hosting some of Russia's top classical ballet performances, but modern dance productions, plays, and other stage work takes place here too. Number 3. St. Basils Cathedral. Even if you've never known its name, you're probably familiar with St. Basil's Cathedral. The iconic, whimsical structure looks like it has been plucked straight out of a fairy tale or Dr. Seuss's books, but was constructed in the mid-1500s. The bright pink and white geometric designs on the base of the building stand in contrast with the brightly colored puffy domes with bright yellows, blues, greens, and reds. And the inside is just as impressive. Ornate designs in vibrant colors fill the halls and celebrate Ivan the Terrible's victory over the city of Kazan. The beauty inside the building is undoubtedly on a smaller scale than the outside, but still well worth a tour. Number 2. Kremlin. It might surprise many viewers to learn that there are more than 20 Kremlins in Russia. The word translates to strength or fortified city, and many of the Kremlins in Russia are old medieval cities that have long outgrown their original walls. But the most famous, of course, is the Kremlin of Moscow. Just like the White House or Parliament are synonymous with the governments of the United States and Great Britain, so too is Moscow's Kremlin indelibly tied to the Russian government. Today, the Kremlin primarily serves as the workplace of Russia's president, in addition to housing the Kremlin Armory. A large portion of the Kremlin is accessible to tourists, and you can access the exterior grounds, Cathedral Square, and the museum in the Armory. Once inside the Armory, a supplemental tour can be purchased for the Diamond Fund, one of the most important diamond exhibits in the world, often compared to the crown jewels of Great Britain. The president holds receptions and other state functions in the Grand Kremlin Palace, which is typically an invite-only area of the Kremlin. Number 1. Red Square. Several of the attractions featured in today's video are near Moscow's Red Square, the largest and most famous square in the country. While the Red Square traditionally translates to Beautiful Square for non-native Russians, it is a symbol closely tied to the Cold War as a relic of Soviet Russia. But it's so much more than this one portion of world history. It has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1990, and the only time you'll see motor vehicles operating in the area is the military parade that takes place each May. Red Square is transformed into the Red Square Christmas Market, filled with festive lights, local products, sweets, mulled wine, and even an ice rink during the holiday season. That does it for Moscow. Have you ever been, or is Moscow still on your bucket list? Despite current politics, we hope that this video has piqued your interest in a dynamic city whose value is more than the sum of its parts, or leaders. Where would you like us to take you next? Let us know in the comments below. If you stuck around for the whole video, let us know by tapping the like button before heading to your next video. And if you'd like to see more travel content, make sure you are subscribed to our channel with notifications enabled. Until next time, safe travels.